Hey, this is Christy, and you are following my weight loss plan, diet and exercise, even though I have ADHD and plenty of other excuses to fail. So we just got past one of my great excuses. Because of my scoliosis and all the different damage and permanent injuries in my back, I am still just a little bit easy to injure, unfortunately. So last week was just unbearable because I had basically strained my hip flexor here somewhere, and I couldn't even bend my leg without just excruciating pain. I could barely walk. I had to call off of work, and I have just been absolutely miserable all week. I have massive ADHD. If I don't burn through my piles and stockpiles and just massive nuclear power plants full of energy that I have every day, I lose the ability to sleep eventually and start getting massive insomnia. So last night, I couldn't sleep a wink. I just stayed up all night. I still haven't slept. It's been 36 hours. I'm not even tired. So now we get to why I quit sugar at the same time as I quit drinking. I'm just trying to work on my overall health. So I quit drinking, I quit smoking. I quit drinking, it was last November. Smoking was January, and weed was 3 weeks ago, not counting edibles on holidays and apparently if I'm injured, because I could not walk. And so I was basically bedridden on 3,000 milligrams of edibles over the last 4 days because my tolerance is so high on those. And even with the edibles and everything, no sleep. No, you're not touching the level of ADHD that I have. If I can't run off this energy, I'm gonna be miserable if I get injured worse than this. So I got a little trick up my sleeve though. Did you know, and you should because it's been out everywhere, that your brain can't really tell the difference between the sugar in this and the sugar in alcohol? Your brain can't tell the difference. All it knows is it doesn't get hung over the next day if you have a bag of sugar. And my ADHD, I have the special, ultra special kind, because things like coffee make me fall asleep. Things like sugar make me fall asleep. Other types of ADHD, some of them are even just ultra sensitive to sugar, and they'll get really, really hyper. Not me. I think if I was more hyper on a regular basis, they'd have to call it manic, just on a regular basis. I'm just that hyper anyway. It would be a little insane if sugar made me more hyper. But no, it actually doesn't. I get zero party time on sugar. I eat the sugar, I crash out, and I go to bed. So to help me solve for this, not only am I feeling better, so I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna burn some energy today. I'm not going to try to take an afternoon nap because that'll mess me up even more. I'll just wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning dizzy and wondering what's going on. But I'm going to try to get to bed probably at a nice decent hour, probably 8:30 or so, a nice decent hour. And I'm going to go ahead and fall all the way off of this wagon so that I'm not tempted to go get a beer to put myself to sleep, because that stuff also puts me to sleep if I drink enough of it. We're not trying to injure my liver this weekend. And besides, as much as I'm not trying to quit everything forever and ever and ever, I am trying to cut back so that I can say I live an almost completely sober lifestyle. I want to be completely clean of everything except for sugar on occasion when I need it as a kind of a medicine. I'm going to be using it to help me get to sleep tonight, and weed, again, kind of as a medicine, because by day 3 of using it as a medicine, it doesn't work on me anyway. And if I try to take any kind of medication with NSAIDs in it, because my stomach bleeds out from the inside and I end up in the ER because that's one of my other health issues. I have really, really sensitive stomach lining, and so if I drink too much coffee or if I have NSAIDs 3 days in a row, it just and suddenly I'm throwing up blood and at the ER, milk and magnesia, and they give me morphine if it's bad enough. That's the only other pain medication that I can take that works for me. And so we prefer not. Me and my primary care physician discussed this a long time ago, and he said, we're either going to let you smoke weed or we're going to put you on OxyContin. And he did not want to put me on OxyContin, and I did not want to be put on OxyContin. So intensely high amounts of weed it is, and doing yoga and exercise, those are my only choices when it comes to being out of pain. And again, if I'm not mobile and moving around, my energy levels are so inescapably high that you'd have to practically drug me to put me to sleep. Now, they've tried to drug me with trazodone to put me to sleep when I was having trouble sleeping before. I ended up being it's an anti-anxiety that was supposed to like help with sleep, I guess, but it didn't help with sleep. It just made my anxiety about missing the whole night's sleep completely disappear from my brain. So I'd be on day 2, no sleep that night, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and because I'm on the trazodone, I just couldn't care less. I'm up, I'm not minding my business, I'm just doing things, and slowly my functions are, depleting, because it's, we're heading on to 72 hours of straight being awake, no sleep. So that's something that I always have to be very mindful of. Maybe one day when I get older, I'll have to, switch to aqua aerobics or something, but we're not there yet. And so we carry on and we carry forward. The only other thing is, of course, with the injury, there hasn't been any working out. Of course, with the injury, I really have not been doing the bracelet at all. So I have to get back on track now that I'm feeling better, and get all back on my sleepy routines and everything gets back together. And then I'll start feeling all better again, and I just have to try to make sure that we don't have any more incidents, so that we can stay away from the sugar, so that we can continue on our path. Really just want to get past this hump phase where I'm at, where this is where my body's natural struggle is with weight, because I know that once I get down to 140, it's like a secondary shelf. It's like another promised land for me. So I've got this weight that I'm at here, but I can also sit very comfortably at this weight down here. And there's just that gap in between the two. So I just have to keep reminding myself that I've done this before, I can do it again. I just need to be careful with myself, patient with myself, and just honest with myself about what I'm capable of doing sometimes. I love to overdo things. I love to push it to the limit and stuff. But sometimes pushing it to the limit pushes you right off a cliff now, doesn't it? And we're not trying to fall off ledges. So that's what we're doing this week, getting back to track, back on progress. This is why we are constantly getting back on routine, getting back on track, constantly getting back on the horse, because we don't have a choice. Now, I am going to have my great weekend. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope you treat yourself very well. Cheers.